won't let me test it.
No, it's because
I'm annoyed by that, actually.
still in development, but so far we have about 74% hit rate on take profit.
Hello everyone, and sorry for the delay.
No problem.
Let me just get my presentation there. How you guys doing?
Yeah, fine.
Good.
Thank you.
I still have a headache from last time. Otherwise, I'm fine.
Yeah.
A
You
headache
take
from
some.
last time?
I've been having a headache for 6 days now.
Oh,
So I'm counting the
Okay.
days back, and it was the last time I was in a workshop with you.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding.
So now we're going into extended UTEX. So look, get ebooks and paracetamol ready.
I have to call in sick for work tomorrow, I think.
are we?
I don't know. What's on your menu for today, Mike? What's on your menu?
I'd say it would depend on our two newcomers.
So we have Arne here from Norway, member of Tingvar. Katty, you know, and then Theo, you also know as well, I believe. You guys know each other, right? Have you been with Mike training?
We
with
met
him?
in Constitution
Oh,
convention over the table a few times.
so are you part of a CC or something? No, I don't think so. Are you?
Oh, nope. I was the alternate saying that I like your graphs. That was maybe the main conversation we had. Because I also do like onboarding. Not anymore. Like I think only onboarded one person one-to-one this year. So I'm very, very lagging here.
So you guys.
But we gotta put him on the spot now, because if Tevo and Max from Netherlands get things rolling, we might have a update constitution working group at the civics. So it looks like we are able to drag some funds out of Jack's wallet at Intersight.
Ben, I'm going to talk to you about my proposal, I know.
I think if I remember well, that's where we were at last time we did this presentation, right?
Yeah, I think that's quite right.
So I'm sorry for you guys. You skipped the presentation about the CC credentials. So if you want to run as an individual or by using a native script, I'm gonna have to refer you to another video, because right now we're gonna be talking about the awesome, marvelous, wonderful, very useful Plutus V3 script credential manager.
Is that script you shared in the Intersect or somewhere in Discord? I noticed some code lines.
Yeah, hold on. Script. Let's go get it.
Oh no, I was reading some kind of big infographic. I downloaded one and then deleted after reading it because I found it way detailed.
What?
Like there was like some kind of scrolls, like, and Voltaire was there, and then there's just like something saying like a narrative story, and then code, and then I just kind of read the first two letters and then just looked at, okay, all of them are like credential creating or signing, and then
that's what
kind of okay.
That's what it was, and it was very interesting, right? That's what you were saying, right?
Yeah, well, it actually was.
But this is like a one-time thing, right? So like you don't really like how often we do that. And it's all like happening behind the scenes, technically. I mean, my assumption.
Everything but the last scroll is a one-time thing. So the last one is the voting one. That's what we use all the time. When you vote on something, when you vote on a governance action, you just do the last step over and over again. But everything else, yes, normally if everything goes fine and you don't screw up with your credentials, then yeah, it's a one-time thing.
Or create a wallet encrypted, not in yeah, never mind.
Yeah, no, normally the infographic that you saw is the last one that I go through because it explains the actual codes themselves. And normally I go through this one first to explain how it works in a vulgarized way, like in a simple way, and then we can get to the one you saw with the scrolls. This is normally how we do this. How I do this, because I like to oversimplify things first. Because if you don't understand how it works exactly, it's kind of hard to get the grasp of the codes. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's not the way to do this. But this is how I do it.
Like, nah, someone made some code, and this is like the click, 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 and that's what we're doing, right?
Well, I got that too, actually. If you just want to do it copy paste, and copy paste, I also have a repo for this. But yeah, it doesn't come with a warranty of you not losing your credentials, but uh, it's on you.
Mhm.
Yeah, so as you, what do you, just to make sure, what do you guys know about the governance bodies? Do you know like a lot, a little, or um, what exactly do you know about the control committee, the DREPs, and the SPOs?
Yeah,
I
for
stayed
me,
with Caneric for 1 week this summer, so I think I know a bit, but I can't guarantee. It's like whatever he knows. I think I know.
I think I
for
already forgotten most. Like the last time I read the SIP 69 was also last year, I think so, and never picked it up again. I have a calendar schedule where I wanted to start to read CIPs because I always now notice people are like referencing these documents over and over again. So I thought maybe this is relevant, but they haven't gone through like all the SIPs yet. And I don't know if it's related to the bodies and or they just protocol level stuff. Yeah, my assumption is I know pretty well. Like when I describe, like if people want to go in detail, I have a lot to say, but I may not have the details correct. Like who signs what and like in what order. Like there are a lot of governance actions that not all the people do, and even in the infraction, I just realized we made a mistake. Like we added that the constitutional amendment is not done by SPOs. So okay, yeah, delete.
All right. Maybe I can
yeah,
summarize it. Oh yeah, go ahead, Arnie.
yeah, Arne, yeah, I can say that I know a general of the basics of all these details. I think so, and also part of Tingvad, and we have signed some info actions already. So yeah, I have an introduction at least.
Okay. So yeah, you could also understand with the scrolls what happened with some of your credentials that were not going to get to that much, but you could understand what happens or the difference between the extended keys and the normal Shelley keys, and why it doesn't always works well with the OpenSSL certificates. um, but yeah, maybe I can just like slightly summarize it real quick. If I go back, yep, there, let's go here. All right. So as you may know, the DREPs, they vote according to their own informed judgment and are not bound to follow others' opinions, right? And the CC, the Constitutional Committee, are only supposed to vote on the constitutionality of the governance action that are submitted on chain, right? There's a huge difference between the two. So DREPs is more like opinion based, and the SPOs, well, the SPOs also, but it's more related to security because they cannot vote on everything. They can vote on some of the governance actions. They cannot vote on them all. And the Constitutional Committee, even if we don't like a specific governance action, if there's nothing in the Constitution that holds them from, if they've crafted it and if they have followed the Constitution, we have to state it constitutional and vote yes on it. So if it passes at the end, it will depend on the DREPs mostly, or if they did follow the Constitution. So we're like the kind of the last guardrail. So everything that you cannot enforce by code, we have to enforce it with humans right now, and that's what we do as the CC. So though it cannot be enforced on chain, the Constitutional Committee is only supposed to vote on the constitutionality of governance actions according to our Constitution, which contains rules and guardrails that everyone has to follow. And if you don't like them, you can always change them through a governance action related to the Constitution itself. I'm just summarizing it like really quick. I don't know if you're familiar with the guardrail script itself. The guardrail script has minimum and maximum values for all protocol parameters. So if you attempt to change the value of a specific protocol parameter, you can't go above a certain maximum and below a minimum value for that specific protocol parameter value you are attempting to change. If you go over those values, which are written into the Constitution text, but also part of the guardrail script that you are forced to run with the transaction that you use to submit it, then it will stop you from even being able to submit it on chain. Your node, your local node, or whatever node you're using to submit it will stop you because it will give you a script error. That's what it's for. And everything that cannot be enforced by the guardrail script, because we cannot code it into it, for example, specific value that cannot be changed above 10% or 15% or something like that, it cannot be enforced by its script, but it can be enforced by a human being like me, Eric, Arne, which are part of the CC, and that is our role. So we have to make sure everyone follows the rules. If we don't like the rules, we change the rules. But again, there's a process, right? Any quick questions about the guardrail script itself?
Is the guardrail script a constitutional amendment, or is that an additional parameter change governance action?
The guardrail script is the only thing in that's not part of the ledger itself. Like it's a script, but the ledger.
It's like a node stuff, like CIP basically.
No, it's part of the Constitution. Everything in the Constitution that's under the Appendix 1 is related to the guardrail script. It is part of the Constitution, but it's a script. So there's the Constitution text and there's the guardrail script itself. And the ledger, within the ledger, you have the script hash of this guardrail script. So when you attempt to run a protocol parameter change, the ledger itself is going to expect you to run or refer the script that has the specific hash that is written in the ledger state. So the ledger is expecting you to run it. If you don't, you won't be able to submit a protocol parameter change. And if you want to change that script, you can change it through a Constitution change governance action, and you would have to mention the new script hash. And if it passes, then the ledger itself will consider that new script hash and will require everyone that are willing to do a protocol parameter change to run a script that gives this specific hash. It's tricky.
But
right?
then the ledger has to be also updated to kind of accept the new hash, or it always knows that the okay.
Yes, when you make a constitution change pass, the ledger itself change while the value, the hash value of the constitution script within the ledger change, and it's going to check your governance action and your transaction that runs the governance action, and make sure that the script you're running gives the exact same hash. If not, you cannot run that governance action. You cannot submit it. You can remove the guardrail script if you wanted to, but you would have to propose a constitution change, and within that governance section, you don't mention any script hash. If it passes, if the DREPs and the CC allows it, then you would have no more guardrail script requirement to change a value of the protocol parameter. It's possible. That's what I meant. It's possible to remove this requirement, but you would have to have the community behind it for XYZ reason. But as it is right now, there's a guardrail script hash within the ledger, and it's requiring it every time you run a specific governance action. And everything that cannot be catched by the guardrail script has to be catched in a way by the constitutional committee, if there's something to be catched, right? Or else it's constitutional. That sums it up. Do you have any more questions about the guardrail script itself? It's a Plutus V3
Not this
script.
one.
What's that?
Not this one, but I had one question, but I think we can move on, I guess.
Go ahead.
Like there was like when in the previous slide, when the constitution, the committee makes like, okay, this is not constitutional, but 6 people say it is. Like, do they need like consensus? Is there also some kind of like quorum they need to reach in order to know if it's constitutional or not? Or this is mostly just advisory to DREPs?
Are we talking about DREPs? Because DREPs don't vote according to the constitutionality of a governance action.
Yeah, but it said that they are expected only to vote if it's constitutional.
No, not necessarily. They can vote. They can vote according to their opinion, even if the CC. They all vote in parallel. So the CC vote the same time at the same time than the 2 other governance bodies. It happens at the same time. So we as a CC could vote something unconstitutional, but a DREP would still like it and vote yes for it. That's a valid vote.
The vote is valid, but it also then like enacts when the thresholds are reached. It doesn't matter what the CC voted.
Oh no, you need both. Yeah, in some cases you need all specific thresholds to be crossed in order to make something, in order to have a governance action ratified. So if, for example, on the CC side, it is stated as unconstitutional and they vote no, but a majority of DREPs vote yes on it, the governance action is not going to pass. But on the other hand, the same thing occurs when the CC, for example, would state something constitutional. For example, the Constitution V2, right? The Constitution V2, we stated it as constitutional, but the DREPs didn't, they didn't engage enough for their threshold to be crossed, so it didn't pass. So this is why you need all specific thresholds to be crossed in order to have something ratified. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. All right, let's move on. I explained a little bit also about the cold and hot environment principles. You guys know what there are, right? Cold environment, offline, hot environment, online, right? Cold environment, this is where you generate your keys normally when you're part of the CC, if you're smart and you don't want to lose them. And the hot environment is what you use to submit your transactions. You're connected to internet, you have a running node, and you use it to submit stuff on the blockchain, right? And for CC, for every CC that we have on Cardano, there are hot credentials and there are cold credentials. Okay. And most of the time, well, all the time for the CC, we have cold credentials authorize the hot credentials so that you can use the hot credentials without being worried of losing them in a way. Because if you lose them, you can generate new credential and you authorize them again with the real cold credential keys that act as the CC member. You vote with the hot credentials, and the cold credentials are the ownership of the CC member. Okay, so if somebody ever steals your hotkeys, it's okay. You generate new ones and you authorize them by signing the transaction with the cold keys. That sums it up pretty much. And for every credential types that you can have with the CC, it works the same way. It's always the cold side authorize the hot side, and the hot side is used for voting. Okay.
And switching in between these environments, do you always use an USB stick then?
Oh, there's many ways to do that. I like to use QR codes, but yeah, you can use USB sticks. USB sticks is what most people would use, but the only moment you need to switch side is when you authorize the hot credentials, because when they are authorized, you can use them all the time to vote, and you would have to interact with the cold environment only if you lose them because they're compromised or for any reasons really. If you realize that somebody took your consortium and is voting on your behalf, then obviously you would create new credentials and try to disarm the situation, if I can say it like that, if I can phrase it like that. Sorry.
Yeah.
So the ownership comes from the cold environment. That's why a little later in the presentation, I explain, well, yeah, there's a good example here for individuals. If you want to understand the principle, you generate from the cold environment, the keys, the cold keys, you transfer the hash of the verification key to the hot environment, where you will submit an update committee governance action to propose yourself as the CC on chain. And if this governance action passed, then the hash of your cold credential are going to be part of the governance state of the ledger. So you will officially be inscribed as the CC on the ledger itself. And then you would generate hot credentials that you can also generate on the cold environment, but that's up to you. And from there, you will create an authorization certificate because the ledger doesn't know these hot credentials belongs to you or belongs to the owner of this of these cold key pairs. I'm sorry. So you would have to create an authorization certificate and you include it into a transaction body file that you will send to the cold environment to sign it with the cold keys and then send it back to the hot environment to submit the transaction and authorize your hot credentials that you are going to use to vote. This is what you do as an individual. But with Kathy and Ken Eric, and well, actually the consortium you guys are having, it's you guys are using the credential manager, right? So I give the example real quick for those who didn't know, like when a bad guy steal your hot credentials, all you got to do really is to generate a new one, and you reauthorize them by creating an authorization certificate, send it back to the cold environment, you sign it, and send the finalized transaction back to the hot environment to submit it. And then
So there is no revoking. It's just only one hotkey.
Only one hotkey. So when you create a new one, the former one gets invalid automatically, and the ledger don't recognize them because the ownership key pairs, authorize the new one. So it will always consider the latest authorized set of keys. So if somebody steals them from you, they end up having nothing if you reauthorize a new set of keys.
But they will be able to use it in the meantime until he reauthorizes your new key.
Yes, but that can be done
Okay.
very quickly, like within,
Okay.
yeah, within, well, if I do have to interact with a cold environment, I can say that within 15 minutes I can have, so there's no repercussion because an epoch is 5 days. And I mean, yeah, it can be fixed very, very quickly. But of course, the ledger is immutable and people will realize your mistake and you might have to tell some people that something happened there because they can see that you changed credentials. They can see it. They don't know why, but they can
No.
see that you did a change to it, right?
And a cool thing, like I don't tell you don't have those, but so those credentials that we're talking, they actually have mnemonic seed phrase, just like another wallet. So
Yes.
yeah,
What I'm showing you right now is for individuals. It's just to understand the principles because it's the same for what you guys are using, which I'm going to get to right now. Yeah, so I was just explaining if you ever lose your cold credentials, then yeah, you're totally screwed. Let me just skip to the yeah, I'll skip to the credential part that you guys are using. There it is. Okay.
and this
So
is for consortium.
consortiums, exactly.
Yeah,
So
consortium, and it's the most adapted way of, let's say, managing the credential currently at this moment in the evolution
yeah.
of Cardano governance.
Okay, so the issue, if you have a consortium, you can always use simple native script, right? And that's what the Cardano Foundation did. But there's a problem to that, is that if you ever change the script, a native script, you also change its hash, right? So it's fine if you create a script, you submit an update committee, and you submit that script hash as your credential hash as a native script. It's going to work. People vote you in, you're part of the ledger, you are in the CC with a native script. Good job. But if somebody loses their key or if something happens, you cannot rotate them without changing the script hash. Because if you make a change into the script, the hash is obviously not going to be the same. So that's why we introduced the credential manager, because the ownership of those keys is given to an NFT. And in order to spend the NFT, you need to sign with the keys that are mentioned in the datum, and you can rotate them without changing the script hash. Meaning that if you lose, or if one of your members lose their cold credential, you can rotate them as well. So it adds a lot of security to it. Like, it's an awesome feature.
And it's like from a security point of view, like I will say that credential manager per at as of today is the most secure way whatsoever, in regards to most secure and most flexible, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of tricky to understand, but we'll get there. In my funny example there, I was explaining the way I've, the way they explained it to me in Longmont the first time. It's just as a joke. I hope that nobody's watching this video is going to be offended by it. But yeah, so basically, I was explaining that you got 5 roles. You have the membership roles, the head of security, the orchestrator, uh, delegation roles, and voting roles within the um, credential management tool. And they all have a role. And the membership role, you need, of course, to have keys. So you have to generate Cardano keys. And then you have, from those Cardano keys, you have to convert them into OpenSSL keys that you will then use to create certificate signing requests, OpenSSL signing requests that you will then send to the head of security, who has the certificate authority, and then and then he creates X509 certificate that he sent back to the orchestrator, but the orchestrator cannot mint the NFT yet. So he has to rely on the delegation role, which is also part of the cold credentials. They also have to generate Cardano keys, OpenSSL keys, then certificate signing requests that they will send to the head of security who holds the certificate authority. He will create more certificates, send it to the orchestrator. Then he will be able to mint the cold NFT. And then the update committee, finally, that's going to be voted by SPOs and DREPs.
Was the credential manager basically, is it an open source tool or is it
It
that the
is.
orchestrator is? Okay.
No, it is an open source tool. It's completely open source. I'm going to send you the repo link if you want after this. There's also documentation that's written. If you prefer going through the written documentation, it explains everything about the smart contract logic, everything that's triggered, all the validation part, everything is mentioned in it. Is
No, I'm fine.
heavily detailed.
Completely.
It also explains the orchestrator CLI tool that they build, which is amazing. This is how you interact because there's 3 smart contract involved. There's a minting smart contract, a locking smart contract, and a credential smart contract. And well, the documentation that I'm going to send you explains it all. Oh, thank you, Ken Eric. He gave you the link right there. So that's the link to the repo, right? Is that what it is? Yeah, that's what it is. Okay.
Yep.
I'm going to go through the scroll environment as well, so that's why I want to make this quick. What time is it? Perfect. Okay, so just to finish this part, now we just mentioned the cold credential, right? Also have the hot credential. They have to generate Cardano keys in order to vote, also convert them into its equivalent in OpenSSL keys, and then create their certificate signing request that they send to the head of security, who's going to again create more X509 certificate, send it back to the orchestrator so he can mint the hot NFT and then authorize it, and finally send the transaction body file to the delegation role. They sign it, they send it back to him, he assembles the final transaction and submit it. So my question to you was that simple.
Makes sense.
Make sense? Okay, yeah, I'm getting some pretty good answers from that. People seem to understand my weird graphics most of the time. Like, I don't think it's simple. Okay, but so the way I wanted to show you properly, like, so we can start here and we'll end up there. What is this? Timer. I don't know how I did that. So yeah, so all those 5 roles are separated into 2 big role groups. So you got the user roles and you have the operational roles. Okay, the user roles are the ones that are directly involved with your consortium. You got membership roles, delegation, and voting roles. They are part of your organization or group. But the operational roles doesn't have to. The head of security and the orchestrator who builds the transactions for you can be part of your consortium, but they don't have to because they don't hold any privilege within your consortium. Related to the ledger, of course, but we will get there. So these are the steps that are described in the big infographic that I made with the scrolls that I'm going to get to very soon. That's why I'm not going to go through all of them right now. User roles. So again, you have the cold credentials and the hot credentials from before. You have the membership role. The ones who hold the membership keys, they hold the control over your consortium. So if all of you owns a key, you all own some sort of honing power to the related to the consortium. Okay, those who hold these keys control the consortium because they have the power to rotate the keys that are below them, everything that's below. So what they can do, they can resign themselves from the committee, so they can resign their own credential. They can rotate any other keys from the membership roles and the delegation role of the consortium. But again, if you want to do that, you always need the majority of the keys witness, of the signature witness, in a way. So if you're 6, you would need 3 signatures. If you're 7, you would need 4 signatures in order to do that kind of change to your consortium. And they can unlock the cold NFT and spend it arbitrarily, but I'll get there soon. The delegation role, I like to call them the authorizer. So all they do pretty much is they are the one who authorize the hot credentials. So there's 2 sets of keys within the cold credential for the credential manager. The membership roles, you never use them if everything goes well. If you don't have to rotate keys or do anything critical to your consortium, you will never have to use them. Once. Not even once. You don't sign anything. You create your NFT. You don't need signatures from these keys. You only need to sign with them if you have to rotate keys or resign from your membership role, or if you have to spend the NFT, which I doubt it's going to happen, honestly. But we don't know. So the delegation role have the power to authorize the hot credentials. And they can also resign from their own role, and they can rotate the voting keys. So if you got 6 voter credentials here, you can rotate them if one of these guys lose it. And within the same consortium, you can hold each one of these roles as well. It doesn't matter. But I would suggest that you use different credentials for both, right? Don't use the same keys because we will be able to see it on chain. Because even though we don't see your private keys, we see the hash of the verification key that you have. So if you use the same for more than one role, we'll figure it out, right? We will see that you have the same hash for different roles. So we will know that you use the same set of keys, which would be awful if you ask me. So, but I know you guys didn't do that, so it's great.
We're all good. We're all good. We're all good.
Yeah, everyone's good. I checked everyone, man. Just,
Of course it is.
this is something accessible. Oh yes, good.
Yeah, I just to fill in. So like, what is also very neat about this is that so the membership role, and delegation role, you know, it doesn't need to be the same, even the same persons in the consortium.
Exactly. Exactly. It
Wouldn't
doesn't have
be advantage that it wasn't the same person?
it's opinion based. I would honestly like I would say so, but it's not required. You could if you wanted to. The advantage of, for example, for a consortium of 6 to have 3 memberships and 3 delegations is that you can rotate them at will. That's the nice part of it, and you'd never know who holds what. That's one of the good features of this because you can, and it's been talked about. So once every 2 months, you just rotate them, and the delegation role people becomes the membership and vice versa. And if somebody tries to compromise your keys, they all get mixed up. I mean, like they just don't know. They get lost. It's almost like pressing the reset button, but you get to keep control over your consortium. And for security purposes, it's just amazing. It's amazing. It's like the most confusing things for any hackers to try to compromise. And if they do, they have to do it all at once because they can't do nothing with a single set of key. They just can't. But it's up to you guys to decide. Some consortium, they all have memberships role, all of them. and delegation roles as well, but there's some keys you use more than once. So for example, if something happens to your hot credentials, you always can use your delegation roles, right? You only use the membership roles when things goes really bad, like you lose delegation roles credentials, or you lose one of the membership ones, something awful, right? But again, it's like, I don't want to call it like that. It's like the holy shit button, like, oh shit, right? As a matter
Oh
of
shit
fact,
button.
yeah, as a matter of fact, none of the last year consortiums ever had to sign anything with the membership roles, ever. Not that I know of. Even Emergo, and they rotated their hot credentials, but they never used the membership ones. They used the delegation ones. Why did they have to do that? I don't know. I have no idea. I just know they did. That's what I see on chain. So the membership roles is very important to keep safe and to make it insanely hard to compromise. That's on you. I can give some suggestions, but that's all I can do. Like, everyone has a different way to do this, and the best security is to not talk about it, as long as it's cold, right?
You freeze, yeah.
Yeah. So
And then we also have Quasar, right?
yeah, like the what was it called? The kill switch button that was sending the yeah, someone had a kill switch button that was sending all his credentials to Quasar. That was a funny one. Anyway, uh, so the voting role. It's a role only to vote. So these are the credentials that you use to vote on governance actions, and you use them all the time, all the time. So they can be hot credentials on a hot wallet. It's fine. It's really fine. And if you lose them, and if somebody managed to steal enough of your keys to vote on your behalf, you can always rotate them. But I've never seen that. I've never seen that. Could happen one day. Don't know. But you can keep those in a cold environment as well. So it's up to you, right? But they are the
So,
keys you
so
use
there,
to
there
vote.
have been like, Mike. So there have been this scenario, like, okay, now Cardano is like digital assets in the US, and if you have some adversary that would like to hurt like the US economy, still, it's very, we might lose some hot credentials, like in the worst case scenario, some let imagine like three consortium gets compromised, just worst case scenario, but it's still maintain control.
Dude, well, it's almost impossible. Okay, let's say my consortium, right? We have the Cardano Atlantic Council, right? We're six, so you would need at least three of our keys to do something. And let's say you do it on the voting side, you have to do it fast enough so that we don't rotate them before you get them all, right? And if you do get them all, we're still going to rotate them. So there's no value into stealing voting keys. Well, unless you're trying to socially attack the consortium in question and try to prove that they're not safe enough, I guess. But other than that, if somebody would want to do something bad to a consortium, they would have to aim for the membership keys. But again, depending on the numbers that you have, depending on the consortium itself, you would have to be quick and coordinated. And I mean, nothing's impossible, but if you do manage to make it, you would only control 1 out of 7 voices, because a consortium is one voice. It's one vote. Is that like the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that could be. I mean, like, right? But it's still one vote, right? So all
Nothing's
of this,
impossible in
all I'm
Hollywood.
showing you right now, is just one vote out of 7. One vote. I mean, that's a lot of effort just to get the grasp of a vote for couple of minutes, right? But nothing's impossible in life. We need a very, very poorly managed credentials from a specific consortium, I guess, since each one of their members, they do it differently, right? I have no idea how Rick McCracken manages credentials, or Adam Dean, or Jenny Brito. I have no idea. And it's great, because I should not know about this. And right, I mean, anyway, you guys get it. So that's what the voting role is for. It's voting. So simply said, right here, you can say that these guys control these guys, who control these guys, who votes on governance actions. That's pretty simple. So there's two roles left to explain. So if I shrink that down on the left side, you will have the operational role. Like I said, they are implicit roles that describe tasks which must be managed by the organization somehow, but the system does not explicitly keep track of them the way it does with the user role. Each one of these roles involves signatures that are seen by the ledger. These two guys don't interact with the ledger other than by building the transaction itself. They don't sign things. Well, no, yeah, the orchestrator does, but it's only to pay for the transaction. So it's not directly related to a decision that's made by the user roles. So if I go through the head of security first, I like to call it the ID manager. He's responsible for managing the X509 certificate hierarchy. So when you create the certificate X509, he holds the certificate authority of your consortium. But again, this has no influence on the keys themselves. He just contributes into making sure that your certificates are linked to those keys and to your consortium. So it's more like an ID thing, right? So within those certificates, you have, for example, information like your name, your country, the name of your organization, your email address, and you're free to share those information if you want to. Because on chain, you only see the hash of this certificate. I would say that it's slightly risky to share the certificate of the membership roles, for example, because you would know who has which key. But on the voting side, I would say it doesn't matter, because they can always easily be rotated, and it's just great for transparency, right? So the reason why we have this is because the OpenSSL keys that we generate are the equivalent of the Cardano keys on the OpenSSL side. So as you may know, OpenSSL it understands and you can use the ED25519 keys algorithm with the OpenSSL protocol, right? With the OpenSSL tooling. So what we do in this credential manager is we convert the Cardano keys that you use to sign transactions on chain, and you convert them in OpenSSL keys, which are technically the same keys, but you can use them to interact with the OpenSSL tooling, like signing your certificate signing request. So if someone has access to your certificate, he can know on chain who signed what with those keys.
And Mike, maybe you can explain a little bit. Do you know how to explain like what is a X509 certificate versus SSL certificate? We use that a lot, but maybe people don't know what it is.
You mean the difference between the certificate signing request and the X509 one?
Yeah, it's like why do we use it? Why do we use SSL?
Oh,
What's the
because
advantage
it's
of
widely.
using the one certificate opposed to the other?
I'm not
Why
sure.
do you choose to use the X509 certificate?
Oh, it's because, well, it's because Yeah, it's because it's widely used everywhere.
Okay.
That was because you can use this specific one for every other toolings, and we're honestly hoping that some of the Cardano explorers would use them if we share them with them. If we share them with them, that sounds weird, but yeah. So within their tooling, it's something that's already widely used for kernels, for websites, um, right? So you have a certificate authority, and and then you ask for a certificate signing. Well, you provide them a certificate signing request in order to be recognized as part of whatever organization that the certificate authority holds, and it's widely used everywhere.
So
So
it's like it's like the best way I can explain it is X509 certificate is basically tied to identity or device. We use it if you have many computers in a big cloud and you don't want to get you want them to identify them, that like, yes, this is me, then you use a X509 certificate. It's like your ID,
Yeah,
passport.
yeah, I get it. But isn't this just another name for the SSL certificate?
No, there are two. So the X509 is like to, let's say, identify the consortium, to put it like that, like the different roles, like put the difference between delegation and difference between membership. And the reason why they use it is because um, uh, like in computers,
Yeah, I know, but we
they
use.
kind of different between two types of roles, to put it like that.
Yeah, I get it. But we use the certificates at work all the time, and we issue SSL certificates for everything we do. I just always thought this was just a regular SSL certificate.
Yeah. So and then we use the SSL to make it compatible with Cardano Ledger. We
Okay,
use
so it's two different certificates.
two different certificates.
Okay.
Are you agree, Mike?
I thought it was.
honestly, it's pretty similar. It could be you could technically, if you wanted to, use OpenSSL certificate as well. You could use both. They would
Well,
work.
it's two different certificates, but they're quite similar.
They're very similar. What I do know is that you can configure the certificate authority in a different way with a config file for these X509, but we did not. That's why I'm saying in a way that you could technically use OpenSSL certificates with that tool. I never tried to do that. That would be an interesting thing to do, actually. Uh, but the tool
Now you have
itself,
something to do.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
But really, like on uh, about the specifics for this tool, um, you could use both. You could use both. But the tool itself uses the X509. But technically, the datum or the hash of your certificate within the datum, you can manually change it if you wanted to. I'm gonna have to reach out to Ricky probably to know exactly why the X509 itself. I wouldn't have a great answer for you because I don't know why they chose this specific one. Yeah,
But it's a common, widely known certificate.
yeah,
So
but that's only related to identification, right? So if this guy go rogue, the only real thing that you lose in a way is the certificate authority of your certificate that you don't necessarily share anyway. So it doesn't have any impact on your signature or the integrity of your consortium because this guy has no control over your keys. He has the control over the certificate, or in a way into representing the hierarchy of the certificate. So he has the certificate authority which represent your consortium, like the Cardano Atlantic Council as a net of security which hold the certificate authority, and he signs our certificate and he shows to everyone in a way that we are indeed part of this organization. But it's only on the ID side of things, right? It's not on the credentialing side of things. Oh, what time is it? Oh, shoot! Ah, damn! Why is it going so fast every time? God, I'm sorry, guys. God,
Problem. You want to be late to pick
yeah,
up the
I talk.
kids?
That's every time. I'm gonna have to go through the other infographic next time. Oh man, I wanted to
Okay.
talk about it. God, Devil
Okay,
said a
put
lot
a
of
mark,
bad
put
things
a
about
pin
it.
in this, and put a mark on that one because I'm looking forward to going forward from this one.
We have to because it's just the normal way of. Oh man.
Now I
Okay.
have to call Ken Eric to bother him.
So yeah, the orchestrator is the one who builds the transaction, right? He has no control over the consortium itself other than building the transactions to interact with the ledger. So he builds the transaction based on the instructions he received from them, then sends them the transaction body file so that they can verify its content and sign it. Afterwards, they send him their witness data, which he uses to submit the transaction. So he builds the vote, for example, he sends it to the voter, those who holds the voting keys, and they verify the transaction. So, okay, what was our vote? Yes, no, or abstain. Okay, that's good on this governance action. All right, this is our rationale. They verify it. Okay, that's our reasoning behind our vote. Good, good, good. I like it. I sign it, and they send the witness data back to the orchestrator, who's going to use that to assemble the final transaction and submit it on chain. If so, the question I've been asked is can the orchestrator build anything else? Yes, he can. He can build a no vote, but at the end of the day, those guys still going to read your transaction body file before they sign it. And if you put something that they didn't ask for in there, they will not sign your transaction. So it will not go through, which is why the orchestrator himself don't hold actual power over the consortium. He just builds the transaction for you. So he doesn't have to be part of the organization. I could be ThinkVard or orchestrator if I wanted to, as a service or whatever. I have no power. I build your transaction, I give it to you, you verify its content. If you like it, you sign. If you don't sign it, and you fire me, whatever. So that's the point. Oh man. You know what? I think that's exactly where I was last time I was with you, right? I was at like this point. Oh man.
Yeah, but it was really good taking the round.
Yeah, they're catching up. So that's
different
where we
perspectives
stopped.
from Tevo and Arna also, so that's quite nice.
Oh man, I wanted to show my infographic. I wanted to.
Then we just have to wait another week.
God, he saw
There's
it.
always a Thursday, right?
Framework. Look at that. I worked so hard on this one.
Yeah, I'm actually taking a look at that one.
Yeah, you can zoom in and then you realize the dotted lines are feathers and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, and also the feathers are not the same.
Yeah, that was a.
I mean, really, you don't have anything to do in your spare time.
There was hundreds and hundreds of feathers. None of them are the same.
That's amazing.
I wanted people to realize it. But anyway, that's. Oh, wait. Okay, so I'll just say bye to everyone. And we'll see you next time. And